Well, family known to the Murdaughs is pushing for an independent autopsy after their son died nearly 8 years ago. The family of StephenSmith announcing that his body is set to be exhumed after raising enough money through a GoFundMe page for that process and an independent autopsy. Smith's death back in 2015 was ruled then as a hit and run after he was found dead in the middle of the road, not far from the Murdaughs' one of their properties. Authorities reopened the investigation in 2021 after uncovering information while investigating the deaths of Murdaugh's wife and son. A recently released documentary on Netflix suggests that Smith and Murdaugh's oldest son, Buster, were romantically involved, according to that documentary. Joining us now to talk about this, Jennifer Coffindaffer, retired FBI special agent, NewsNation law and justice contributor. Jennifer, thanks for coming back.
You bet. Good evening.
Yep. So this StephenSmith was 19. He was killed in what was described in 2015 as a hit and run. Obviously, one of the worst things for a parent is to see the death of their child. Then the Murdaugh case in 2021 comes about, and now this family wants their child's body to be exhumed. And it's going to happen because of GoFundMe funds. I just looked at it, like $55,000 that have been raised. But walk us through this, because I'm guessing it's not normal for a body to be exhumed. How does this happen, and what could you potentially learn from it?
Well, it is unusual. And remember, SLED, who has reopened an investigation, they could also exhume it to help them in their work. However, this is going to be done independently as requested by the family. They want independent eyes to look at this. And forensic anthropologists can look at bodies this old, and depending on the embalming process, on the decomposition state, they're going to probably be able to make some determination as to what truly happened. We know that there was blunt force trauma to the head, but it was unusual that there was no other trauma, at least reported. Shoes were on. There were just many things that made no sense. Again, only about 15 miles from Moselle.
The mother of StephenSmith, when she posted the GoFundMe account, wrote the following. She said, quote, "We need a new, unbiased look at his body and an accurate determination of his cause of death based on facts." She says there was no debris in the road and his injuries were not consistent with a hit and run. You're saying it's possible that when this body is exhumed, if it wasn't a hit and run, that maybe authorities or whoever takes a look at this could say, well, if it wasn't a hit and run, it was something else. Like, could they point to the exact cause?
Well, I don't know if they'll be able to point to the exact cause, but they'll be able to look at it and see if it truly was consistent with a hit and run, with being struck by a vehicle, as opposed to blunt force trauma to the head caused by something else, not a vehicle. Remember, this ME said that he was hit or struck by the rear view mirror, the side view mirror of a vehicle. So that's going to be something that is very unique to make that allegation and very precise.
And if there's something that's potentially there, what would come next from an investigation point of view?
Well, that report would be sent to SLED for them to look at it, to make a determination, and to see if, based on their independent investigation, remember they've just reopened this, and these results, if that would add up to possibly pointing the finger at some individual or individuals being responsible for his death, other than just a hit and run, which would be possibly seen as an accident.
I know it's so hard, Jennifer, to know, but if you had to take a guess, do you think this remains a cold case? Or do you think this is just the beginning of something much, much more down the line?
I think it's the beginning, and I'll tell you why. Initially, it was really just ruled a hit and run, case closed, buried, and shoved to the side. I think as SLED begins their investigation and starts their witness interviews, I think hopefully there will be more answers.
And we will stay on top of it and follow it. Jennifer Coffindaffer, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.